Hello, my name is Mark Pachabowski. I work for Ascent, a RAND worldwide company. I'm here today to talk about tabs and widgets within the 3D experience, how to use them, how they can be a little frustrating, how they get out of hand on us, and what settings we have to control them. So here I have my 3D experience. I'm working with CATIA, and up here in the upper left-hand corner is this little plus symbol. It says Create New Tab. Now you can click on it, and I have a white screen. There's no actual model open currently, and you can build as many tabs as you want. Think of these like your desktop in Windows. You can have as many desktops as you want, but within those desktops in Windows, you can open Windows themselves. In the 3D experience, you can open what's called widgets. They act like windows, but they're referred to as widgets. Now, these widgets can be one per tab, or there can be many of them per tab. Just depends on what your settings are. And I meant to do this before I started recording, but I'm going to uh, go into my settings, which if you right click on the tab and go to widget layout preferences, I'm going to make sure that my settings are back to their defaults for these, which basically turns that back on. We'll talk about that in a moment. Now, what that does, this is the same way it would be for a default user, is if I create a new CAD file, I come up here, new 3D part, I'm going to call it widget 1. Now, widget 1 creates this CAD file. There's really not much in it other than the default planes, but it places it in this tab called widget 1. It takes the same name. If I was to build a second CAD file, call it widget 2, the default settings put it in its own tab. So I can always toggle between the tabs to be able to get between the two windows or widgets and be able to see what's there. Also, if you hover over it, if there's more than one in here, which currently my settings don't allow that, it will show me what other windows are available to be able, or widgets I'll be able to select from. Um, if I would like to be able to have more than one widget per tab, which gives me a little more options as to how things are being displayed, right click on the tab itself. Go to Widget Layout Preferences. Turn off this Create Widget in New Tab. That's what I turned on a minute ago. But by turning that off, now you can still create a new widget. And it doesn't matter if it's a part assembly or a drawing. But I'll come in here and say Widget 3. And because I'm currently in this tab, the Widget 2 tab, it automatically places it in the same tab. So now I have two widgets displayed in the same tab, only one of them I'm looking at. It is maximized, which means it takes up the full screen. I can come over here and hit minimize or restore down, and now I'm able to see both of them. I could make the other one and say maximize that, and it takes up the screen. Now, you're a Windows user, you're familiar with generally maximizing and minimizing windows. The same idea, just with widgets. Also, because of my settings, when I right click on the tab, I now am given more options. I can close the tab. I can show widget count, which this little number 2 here means there's 2 widgets in this tab. This one only has 1 widget being displayed. Get to the preferences I was just showing you. Tile vertically, so I can have them side by side. I can say tile horizontally, which is one on top of the other, or if you had 10 of them, all 10 of them would be stretched across here, trying to make them all fit. Or you can say tile as grid, which depending on how many you have, it'll try to lay them out in equally sized windows if there's a number that works for that. So here it can. If I had 3, that won't work. So there'll be one that takes a quarter of the screen, one that takes a quarter of the screen, one takes half the screen. So it'll try to divide them up as best it can. Other options, if I right click on my tab and say to widget preferences or layout preferences, here this automatically maximizes the widget, so it takes up the whole screen when it's created. We can also create tab with extract action bar. excuse me, create tab with extracted action bar. Basically, what that's going to do is it will take the action bar at the bottom and separate it so that it is available for you within the widget right away. Just how it shows up is slightly different. Um, but these are the two that probably play the most with how you're going to interact with your files. Go ahead and OK with that. And hopefully that gives you a little bit more comfort in dealing with your widgets, whether you're dealing with parts or if I go in here and grab a drawing. I call this widget 1 drawing. Again, that places it in that tab. And now if I want to grab either one of them, I can hover over it. That'll give you a little bit more understanding of what's going on with your widgets and tabs within the 3D experience. Have a good day.